All right. Welcome to Text Fresh Code. I'm Tech. It's good to see you. I hope this is streaming. It looks like it is. Last few times I've been streaming, I've only gotten about 12 minutes, so fingers crossed that I can go farther than that. But if it cuts out at 12 minutes, then that's that. Sorry, I can't do anything about it. Anyway, welcome to the show. So today we're going to be working on this calendar. All right. So I'm currently working on a calendar for a kava bar in Sarasota, Florida, Manatee and Kava Bar. So as you can see, I'm basically making the whole year. Um, but obviously, my main focus right now is on May, and I'm here in Affinity Publisher, currently in the photo persona, only because layout's a little more set up for me right now. And what I'm gonna do is more of a photo technique. So as you can see, so just looking at these layers, I got all of these words on one layer, all of these boxes on another layer, and I'm using these two effects to create the ripple on it and then the little tail ripple down at the bottom. I'm not applying it to the text. I think it makes it a little harder to read. This is a 38 3840 height, and a 2160 width. That's essentially double 1920 by 1080. That's double a 1080 resolution, which is what it's going to go on to. It's going on to a regular television that's been turned sideways, which is where they present all their information. So mainly what I want to, and you can see down at the bottom, I've also, excuse me, you can see down at the bottom, I've also put a text layer, and that's just a regular text layer with some ripple effects added to it. And it's multiplied. So if I keep scrolling down, so this is May, I've also added the ripple effects, but in a different way to June. And I have a different background for all of them. And the same with July, I've added the ripple effects there. And then August, I have not done anything. I gotta go grab my calendar and kind of figure out this day situation as well, so that I can know what I'm working with. Let me grab my calendar real quick. Oh, and if anybody shows up in the chat, say hi. All right, I got my analog Tallinn Mart. That's a local grocery store. I got their calendar, so that I can get the days out appropriately. Animal Crossing stickers on next month. So what do we want? We want to figure out August, June, July, August. All right. August starts on a Monday. So first thing I'm gonna do, go in here. So I got all of the text just grouped into different texts. So now it switches over to this side, as you can see. This is Affinity Publisher. If you don't know Affinity Publisher, it's a really interesting setup that works better than using Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign altogether, in my opinion. So it starts on a Monday. So and then ends on a Thursday. So let me get into there. I just have all this stuff grouped into groups, just to make it easy to see. All right, and then so let me count the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this whole last row, the sixth row is mainly just there for extra days. Whoop. Windows 8 menu. We are still streaming. Hopefully, there's no drop frames yet. So hopefully this keeps going. I'm not sure if it's a RAM issue or if it's a internet connectivity issue. I am. It's connected in Ethernet, but that's essentially getting internet from Wi-Fi. So I need to run a entire I've run a new Cat 6 cord. I think I'm gonna do that anyway when I stream, just to help me with it. So that can be all turned off as a group. And then, so let's see, Thursday's the last day. So 1, 2, 3, off. And then I just watched a default cube tutorial that really piqued my interest. Default Cube does Blender tutorials, mostly procedural Blender tutorials. And if you don't know, Blender has a whole new geometry node system, which is super dope. And I've seen some really cool stuff get done with it, but I am super hyped about what he just did the tutorial on. He made a procedural version of the Bruins logo inside of geometry nodes. I'm not a Bruins fan or anything like that, but he shaded it all with flat RGB shaders, and it made me realize the possibilities of 2D typography style stuff that could be done in Blender with geometry nodes. And that made me real excited because that's some cool stuff if you ask me. All right, so I also got to go through and change all these numbers of these days, but that is tedious as heck. And if we only got a few minutes left, then I'm probably not going to do that. So let's see. So I'm going to close up these boxes. Gonna close up the text. So I need to get the boxes inside of a group. So I'm going to hit Control G in that group. All right. And then inside of that group, select boxes. I'm going to go up to layers. And remember, I'm in the photo persona, which gives me some more options here. So new live filter layer, distort. I'm going to start with ripples. All right. So because it's in the group, ripples is only being applied to the boxes. I'm going to move it above the group so I could put other things in there. The live filter, now that turns it not as an adjustment layer on there, but adjustment layer above it. It doesn't change much for here, but say I wanted to take the words and put them in too, I can. That's the main reason. I'm not doing it for clarity's sake. Okay, I'm not doing it for because I want to be able to read it. All right, so I'm gonna go back, get that back into that position. Double click on here again to open up the ripple controls. So and then you see the cursors changed a little bit, which allows me to essentially shift this around and pick where I want the ripple position to come from. So because we only got one right there, I'm gonna start it right there. And I'm going to crank this way down. It's at 50. That's way too many ripples. Let's go down to 5. Okay, yeah. So you see they start very small and they get bigger as they go. That's generally the way the ripple works. Which I kind of like it coming from this position. I always want it to be slightly different. Like I could make it come from the bottom, which would make that a little more. That's interesting too, because that kind of curls up that way. I'm going to keep it. I want every ripple to be different for each calendar, just as like a kind of a nod to everyone who looks at it all the time. Just looking at these other two. I don't really have one where the ripples are going upward. August might be the way to do that. Okay, so then I'm gonna add in a curl. But if I have the ripples like that, do I want the curl to be... That's a good question. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing from where I'm at, but this time choose in the distort category. Choose. There's other ones too. I'm gonna go. Oh no, I didn't want to add another ripple. I just turn that off. Uh, do layer, live filter layer. I'm going to choose twirl. Good old classic twirl. So same thing here. So the angle's at 0, so you can't really see it. Oh, I got to pull it out of there. So as you can see, it just twirls from any spot, and I can pick twirl it anywhere. I just kind of can exaggerate the ripple effect. So if I increase the radius of it, really does that. But if I pull the effect back, suddenly just an even more pinched pull off to the side. Does it look stupid? Maybe. I'm going to pull that effect more. Let me try it down here. So increase this radius a bit more. Reduce the angle to something very slight. So let's go to like a 5. That just lets it drift off that way. Makes it look more hand drawn, you know? So, alright. We're at 11 minutes, which is cool. So I'm going to start by mobile live dashboard. Okay, interesting. Let's learn Twitch on Twitch. How does Twitch work? You're live. Press long on the avatar to go straight to stream manager. Duration. Viewers 0. Followers 1. Who the fuck is following me? 19 views. Huh. I'm killing it. I'm killing it. If you're the one follower for Text Fresh Code, please comment. I am so curious about who it is. Oh, it says it right there. Huh. I don't know that person. I don't know that person at all. But it's great to meet you. And I don't know if I should put your name on the Twitch, but it's great to meet you. If you watch my stuff, that's really cool. Alright, so I'm just going to keep streaming. It seems to be working. I'm getting memes and oh my god, I cannot answer a whole thing. Alright, so cool. So we're just going to keep streaming as long as it goes. So I'm just going to, now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to just grab these numbers and change them. So they are live vector too, which is really nice, which lets, even though things are being rippled, I can still play around with them. When I made this, I should have justified right, so that every time I changed the number, they stayed in the spot that I want it to, but they are not justified right. So it's a long, tedious process. So I hope you like watching counting happen on Twitch. But if anybody has any Affinity publisher, designer, or photo questions, I went through all of the tutorials. I've been using Photoshop for like a decade, but there are some interesting layout tools in Affinity, and I think not knowing how to use them is detrimental to your ability to do cool stuff, you know? Like, Photoshop is better. That is without a doubt. It's better in certain things. You can do pretty much everything, but there's some cool, easily laid out techniques in Affinity that I didn't even know that I didn't even know you could do inside of Photoshop, and I found it really intriguing. You know, the 3D light layer. Oh, let me show you the 3D light layer. So I'm gonna zoom out. So, one of the live effects that is running, it's not in the box. It's below all the boxes and all of this text, but it's, if you can see, it gets a little darker. It's like a vignette, but it's not a vignette. If I turn it off, it's so flat now, right? But if I turn it on, and this is on all of them because I just love this. It is 3D lights. Like, it works to me a lot more like the way that After Effects lighting system works. It creates a beautiful gradient. Like, I wish you could animate inside of Affinity. If you could animate inside of Affinity, I'd probably give up After Effects too. Um, one day. So if I double click on that, you see this live lighting panel pops up. So if you see, I got basically a light control. I can pull it in to make it really obvious. I can pull it out. And I have two lights on this right now. So I have one on the top, and then if I switch the light to light 2, I got one down here at the bottom. Essentially lights bottom text stuff and then this top area. So I'm going to X out of that because I like the way I had it. I have it kind of coming that way and that way, and creating just a more interesting and unique vignette. And you can see there it's on top of all of them. So like you might automatically think it's just, oh, I got a really cool photo that like has a vignette on it, or I placed the vignette over it, but I didn't. I did not. So look how flat that is. Add the lights in, everything gets bright and or gets contrasty and interesting. Of course, except for all of the calendar top spots, because I want that to be legible again. Like if I click up in here, and I was playing around with this earlier because I really love the way it works. So if I move the I call it normal week, just these average weekly events. If I move that to below the twirl and ripple, notice that they suddenly are affected, right? Wait, did they? I actually can't see. Let me undo. Oh no, I must not have the right one selected. Here we go. Yeah, so here's the right one. You have to with Affinity Publisher. There's a ton of different pages, so there's 12 pages on here. Obviously, one for every month. So if I move the text below twirl and ripple, notice that they now move with the ripple of the calendar, which I love. I think that looks so cool, but I just know the position where this calendar will be read is a loud kava bar in Florida, so with a ton of people. So I want to make sure that it's as legible as possible. So for that reason, we're going to move it back up here, so that even though they're shaped weird, they don't change shape in with the ripple. I wish I would definitely do it the other way, but. All right, still going live, still going strong. Glad to be here for as long as this. Because the first time I did the stream, it went for a while. It didn't seem to have any problem, but I didn't save it because I didn't have my Twitch set to save things. So, but now I do. So we're learning. I mean, I only live streamed for like 5 years at a comedy club, so. I didn't actually. It wasn't really. It'd be weird. I was the comedy club only ever did a few short live streams. Now they're doing full recordings, which is cool. Um, but but at the church during the pandemic, there's a church at the comedy club that I worked at. At the church during the pandemic, they switched to full live streaming and never went back. So I would say I guess I live streamed for for about 3 years, once a week straight, but whole different system. And we didn't even have OBS. We started that system off in Wirecast, and that. Hindsight's 2020. It clearly was a mistake. Looked like it showed it was a mistake, but at the time, OBS really was not where it was at, or at least I thought it was at. Wirecast really owned it for a second, like a split second. But now OBS is just phenomenal. Anyway, what else should I be talking about while I'm doing these numbers? doing a bunch of After Effects stuff, but I'm not sure if my computer can handle After Effects and live streaming at the same time, which is really unfortunate. Which I was talking about it. I want to get it up on an AWS EC2 instance. Um, but I'm not sure when that's going to come about. Keep building out this instance. I made it Windows 11, which I have not read any documentation about Windows 11 working on EC2. If anyone in the comments has any experience running Windows 11 on EC2, please let me know. I find it very intriguing, but I don't know. But I built out my Windows 11 that I want to push up there, but it's like 80 gigabytes. So my idea was I would keep it on a local file so I wouldn't have to pay for storage and push it up whenever I need it. But an 80 gigabyte upload is probably going to take a little while. It's 80 gigabytes. Well, it's actually under 80 gigabytes. I think it's like 60 now, since I lightened the load about Unreal, cut it down a bit. Because I do not mind the hourly on EC2, but I just don't like the cost of keeping up a persistent drive. You have to take a snapshot of it, and then even a snapshot is pretty expensive. It adds up to like, I think like 50 cents a day, which that makes it like $15 a month. Right? Is that right? Yeah, $15 a month. So if I knock the snapshot into but I archived the snapshot, so I got rid of the volume, and then I archived the snapshot, and that cut the cost down. But it takes like 2 or 3 hours to pull the archival image out once you want it, which I think there's going to be a cost on that added as well. So it's really just, I wish they had the kind of image I want, like an editing system filled with a bunch of free software, Blender, getting Affinity on there, getting Unreal on there. If they just had an image like that on EC2 ready to go, that would be the top notch. Oh, look at that. I got new NVIDIA drivers available. Let's see. Wait, is that right? 13. Okay, 14. So I'm just reading off my calendar. The 20s are my favorite spot because 20 is about the right size to be like to match 0, 22 and 23. They don't change the size much, so I don't even have to change where they are. I could, but why bother? 15. So like, see, 15 and 14, I then need to switch back to this tool and move into place, which it's a little laggy because of OBS. But this would be easier if everything wasn't in a bunch of groups. But I gotta just muscle through it, Still live, 24 minutes. Whoop. As you can see, every one of these things is a little block, which gives me more options. I followed if you want a tutorial on how to build this kind of calendar, let me know. I can send you something, or I could show you one. I followed just a tutorial on YouTube. They're making like a winter calendar thing. Good tutorial. Some things that I saw some stuff I could do better, but no hating. I can send that to anybody if they want it, or I could do a whole build out tutorial on how to build this type of calendar. I don't know. Even the things I followed on that tutorial, I don't know if they're the best way to do it. I wish, like I said, I wish I justified these numbers right, because then I wouldn't have any tweaking to do. But I don't mind them being all a little different places. Again, it kind of matches that aesthetic of like hand drawn underwater, a little weirder kind of thing. I think I'm using a SpongeBob font. So there's that. But yeah, Manatees is really cool. Kava Bar, if you're in the Sarasota, Florida area, you should check it out. They're all like underwater themed or freshwater themed. I'm wearing their shirt too. Check them out. One of my old jams when I was in Florida. And Albuquerque just got their first Kava Bar, which is super cool. There was also one in Santa Fe now as well. So the Kava scene, when I moved out here, I knew it was going to explode out here, just like it has in Florida, and it's going to do it everywhere. It's going to, I think, in 20 years, a lot of people will be switching from alcohol to Kava, just because it's a better buzz. And in my opinion, though, everyone's entitled to their own opinions. You might not agree with what I just said about Kava, and that's fine. I'm not even sure if I should be talking about Kava on Twitch. It's not really controversial at all. It's fully legal. Just people don't seem to know about it, so they get a little freaked out. Like, what is it? It's a root. It's a root. But like, people are like, it's a plant? Oh God, I'm scared of plants. Coffee's a plant, though. You know, coffee is like a bean off of a plant. Like, we just know what it does, which a lot of other plants are like that. People just don't know what they do, though, and then they get all freaked out about it. Super weird. Well, thank you for coming to my Kevin rambles about Kava while making a calendar. I mean, Tech. My name is Tech. Ugh. Wish I could go back and beep that out. Alright, well, if anybody scrolled back to all these old videos, you now know what my real name is. If I ever... I'm pretty certain I'm never going to go by my name again on live streams, because I know how that gets. So, my name here is Tech. For Tech. And the owner of Tech's Fresh Code. I gotta change my Facebook page. My Facebook page says Tech's Fresh Graphics, because I was thinking I'd be a little more blunt about it. And now I'm thinking I want to be a little more obscure about it, because I like the idea of like tech, like graphics. Like, I make graphics, yes, but I mean, I also want to move more into how do I take these graphics and get them on the web, you know? Not just some stuff like this. So I want people who are forward thinking like that. So hence I go by making code. Not in the traditional sense, that's for sure. But I am still going to be making coding tutorials someday. I got real excited about Fireship did a thing on Nux, which is the like Next.js but for Vue, which that's what I want. That's what I probably am gonna move into more. All right, now that we got all our numbers, let's take another gander at what we got. All right, that's looking good. Looking pretty good. It's August. I got my old year date down there. I'll move the other ones later. I'm just going to do the exact same thing. And we're just going to keep on this live stream. So we're up for 30 minutes. Thank you for anybody who watches this at any point, pops in. Let me know if you pop in on you want to watch it if you're in there. Let me know you're here by the chat. So, all right, let's go to the next month. Sorry if I keep looking that direction. That's where my OBS monitor is. I'm not too used to looking directly into the camera yet, so I'm going to keep trying to look into the camera because I know it gives you that feeling like I'm talking directly to you. And that's what I want, because we are having a parasocial relationship someday. You just don't know it yet because you're not watching. All right. Let's see. September. So there are 1, 2, 3, 5. All right. Starts on a Thursday. That's right. Trying to figure out how the categories work. It seems like I can only choose gaming stuff. Like, why would I? This isn't a gaming streaming platform, is it? I know it is. It's just this day. No, not that day. This day. That's right, because I want to take out this whole bottom row. Oops. Okay. Alright, perfect. I got a lot of criticism already that all these backgrounds aren't freshwater. Because they built it all around freshwater. But look how good the October one looks. Like, it's a jellyfish, but it kind of also looks like a pumpkin. But I don't know if these jellyfish are freshwater native. I don't think they are. I think freshwater jellyfish are tiny. But, yep. We got our kilobits dropping for a minute. Dropping frames. Oh. I dropped a bunch of frames somewhere, but it seems like I'm still going. Alright, cool. Only dropped 270 frames. Not too bad. Not too bad. Alright. Let me go back to that live stream manager that I had. Yeah, still watching. Nobody here. Disconnect it from chat. Interesting. Okay, there we go. Alright. What's that, Soup? Do you want to go on the live stream? Hop up here, bud. Here we go. Whoop. Ladies and gentlemen, like to introduce you to my puppy, future internet celebrity. His name is Soup. Say hi. Yeah, hi. This is Soup. He's the best little buddy anyone could ask for. Love you, Soup. He just sleeps under my desk mostly, so, that's, yeah, he didn't ask to be internet famous, but he's gonna be. He's gonna be. Alright. I think I gotta do the numbers now. He's going back under the desk. Love you, Soup. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Proud of this 3D effect. I guess I'm not proud, but I like this 3D effect. It's a pretty simple little 3D effect to put on here. I think it's going to add a little bit of detail. I kind of copied the whole look from their previous calendar, trying to drag it across, but I just wanted to add more details to it, so I made the text a little 3D. I got to add supposed to add a dollar off thing right here. I have that on the other ones. Yeah, I added the 3D text, and then the ripple to me makes the boxes real interesting. I know, like, if anyone ever comes in this chat, they're gonna be like, "That you're just rippling boxes. This is so boring." I don't know. Maybe I'll find an audience someday. I'm just gonna keep trying to live stream this stuff as much as possible, because to me, I think how these things work is super interesting, and I have so much knowledge. Like, I know there's a lot of people that are like, focus your brand, and I probably would have made a lot more money if I did, but I've just spent like over a decade learning really cool little niche things, like, and I don't think everybody thinks they're cool. There are people just, when I talk, their eyes glaze over all the time. I hate it. I want more people to talk about really intricate little things with. So if I can find a brand that wants to just find a brand, if I can find a group of viewers that just want to every week do something new, and learn some like weird little niche techniques, that's what I'm going for. Nope, not 10, 9. And I'll definitely evolve this to be more traditional tutorials, going after specific things. But right now I'm just going to be live streaming till people want to come ask me questions. I'm always here. It's always Q&A. This is always Q&A when I'm live streaming. Always. But I also always have great tutorial recommendations for anybody. Ah. Said it before, I'm always willing to go off the cuff and try to answer and build something. If you need something built for a client, hit me up on this live stream. I'll build it for you on a live stream. You don't have to tell the client that you didn't build it. You can charge them whatever you want. I don't know, depending on what you need it to be. If it takes multiple tutorials, I'll do it. We'll hone in a look, and I will give you all the files. I don't really care. 14 Wednesday. Yep, still going good. What I'd love to get to play with, and I filled out for the notification, is Dolly 2. DALL-E 2. That, to me, that's going to be a game changer. I'm going to be out of the job. You want some cool photo? Like, let me just ask a machine learning thing to do it. There we go. Dolly lets you use, say, one sentence like a crying bowl of soup. It wouldn't show my dog, but it would show an actual bowl of soup, and you can have it in so many different artistic styles. Like, it could be a photo, or it could be a painting in many different styles, and the quality of what it comes out is spot on. It shows you, it does what you ask. This bowl of soup will have a face, and it will be crying. Like, the results that they've shown from it are just insane. I just want to just play with it. I just want to feed it lines all day and just come up with images after images after images, for new unique images of ridiculous things. Cause fuck photoshopping things. If I can just tell a machine to do it, like, I am not afraid of that. There'll always be people. I don't think there'll always be a job for what I want to do, but if I can work with machine learning stuff, then my output will be so much better than where it's at now. I'm for it. I don't care. That's the thing about me, is I don't care about money. I actually hate the idea of money. So, yeah, people will lose jobs. I'll probably lose money from that stuff, but I'm already losing money because of programs like Canva and other programs that have democratized marketing skills. Of course, not to the quality of marketing that I have, but definitely in the sense that any now, like, a lot of the ads that come out are usually just done by random people at a fraction of the cost, because quantity is actually better than quality when it comes to these kind of things, which is really unfortunate, because you would hope it would be the opposite. You would hope quality on ads and brands and stuff like that would outweigh just paying for a lot of them. And in certain senses, certain levels, yes, that's true. But for the average business owner, no, quantity is king. Again, another reason capitalism is an absolute failure. We're going to explore a lot of reasons on... Oops, did I just touch the microphone? My bad. We're going to explore a lot of reasons on this channel why capitalism has failed. Oh, that's not the right one. One thing about this font is the 2 is just god-awful. And that's terrible for making this calendar in the year 2022. Not that the numbers are spectacular in any way. The lettering I like. It really does have a SpongeBob tiki feel to it. But the numberings are terrible. 2 is just so wide and kerned so weirdly. Luckily, the numbers in the calendar are so secondary. Especially after we put the ripple to them. Like, look at how crappy they look there, but then I add this ripple. Doesn't matter that they look crappy. They're legible enough, right? They're a background thing. Ugh, see, that just looks terrible. I will not have that in any of my final renders. You can see this. I'm also not a huge fan of, but it's a little bit better. It looks good here, which I because of the way I got it. And this one next month, May, it really I like that it looks like it's underwater. To me, that's the main thing that I want, and I followed the ripple of that image, which I'm happy with. So I added the same exact ripple thing. If I didn't mention it earlier. All right, I'm still going, and I've only dropped 270 frames. All right, and nobody's commented in the chat, so I don't assume anybody's here. But maybe someone will watch it. All right, so where am I at? I'm going down to September. All right, let's see. Let's add these ripples. I'm going to add them fresh again just because that's the main technique I'm trying to hone in today is this ripple effect. So take the boxes, group it, pop that out, select boxes, layer, live filter layer, distort. Let's start with the twirl this time. Move it up there. Increase the angle. Increase the radius. Ooh, fucking crazy. Let's just do that a little bit. Yeah, I like that. Let's bring that even more down. Let's go 6 degrees. So, and then, so that's my big ripple. Let's add a little ripple now. Live filter layers, distort, ripple. Bring it up there. Let's see. I did it from the bottom last time. Let's go there. And let's go 2. Did that do anything? Let me turn it on and off. I hope this microphone's picking up my mumbles. I definitely mumble a lot. Alright, so 2 is a little too low for me. Let's go 3.8. I think I like that. As I do more of these, I feel like I'm going more and more ham on the ripple, and I want to. So I want to personally try to pull back a little bit more. That would be my my suggestion to myself. I am trying to have the calendar all dated appropriately and rippled appropriately. Oh, something else that I have been doing, and I want to make sure I do it as well. I'm going to take this boxes layer, take this normal week layer, grab the move tool, and I was just stretching them both down a little bit because it is a vertical screen. And that also, I think, let me zoom out, make sure I'm in a good spot for that. Yeah, it's a little longer. I never want any of these to be exactly the same, so I forgot to do it there, but I've done it there. So let me do that to here too. So click into this page, basically just grab the normal week and the boxes group with the move tool and just stretch it out. So this calendar format I think is hard to fit into this vertical display because you don't want it to be too stretched out because it looks super weird. But I definitely want it to be a little more stretched out. I think that adds to the meltiness of it too, because these people are going to be drinking kava and kratom, and I think the meltiness will just kind of vibe in the space more. Might want to reduce some of the ripples on this. Let me go back into that so I can delete whatever the hell that is, because I'm not using that. So then double click on this ripple. So I'm only at 5. Let me go to 4. 4. Yeah, I like that a little bit more. Cool. This one's ridiculous. Let's be real with myself. Let's reduce that as well. So going into it, ripple 9. No. try 7. Let's try 5. Yeah. But then the twirl's really intense as well. So let's click on that. So reduce the radius of it so that, there we go. Cool. June. I love the live filter layers inside of Affinity. That's another thing that they really did better. They really honed in how adjustment layers work and how uh, like the fact that you can have them applied above to act like a clipping layer, or you can have them applied to it, and when they're by themselves, they just have a mask layer that I can paint this onto. Like I could mask this effect onto it, which I think is just crazy. The and don't get me wrong, Adobe Photoshop has a non-destructive workflow in the same ilk, but it's a little more work to work with. Affinity just has a really good non-destructive workflow that I think is worlds better, and I just wish more artists would hop on board with Affinity, only because I want Adobe to scoop up these ideas and take them. Pix Imperfect or something. I forget his name exactly, but he did a whole tutorial talking about what Affinity does better, and I think they do. They do some stuff better. I just wish, yeah, and at the end, but he's right. Like things like the liquefy effect, which I can't even find in Affinity Publisher. So that's the thing that I don't like about their marketing. They say if you have Affinity Publisher, you have in the top corner you have designer and photo persona in there, and they're just like working with the Affinity app suite, right? Yes, but you don't like I'm in the photo persona, so I have everything here, but I don't have what I had in the other personas, right? Like in photo, there's a liquefy persona and the other persona. So I want those personas inside of Publisher as well. If you're listening, Affinity, that's what I want. Because you're so close. Like I like using Publisher for everything except for things I need to use. I need to use Liquify for, or if I'm working with raw photos, because I can't seem to find that persona in there. But if it is in here and it's hidden, somebody tell me. I need to know this because it is because I want to be able to use the Liquify, even though the Liquify is not as good. Like the Liquify is not as good. What is this? Is this Liquify? Mesh Warp Tool. Sounds like Liquify, but it's probably different. Um, so yeah, I just want the Liquify persona. Like, give me another in Publisher. Just give me another row with the other personas that change according to what persona I'm in. Like a persona Inception. I know it's not Inception. It's Recursion. So like that's let's talk about that. It's Inception. Everybody calls Inception, but Inception is defined in the movie Inception. It's about tricking you into thinking you came up with an idea, right? So that's what Inception is, but everybody got so obsessed about the recursion factor in Inception, but they didn't define it enough. Like it is recursion when something is inside of something inside of something. You know what I mean? So like the movie should have been called a recursion. Recursion. Christopher Nolan, you fucked up everyone's vocabulary. But what else is new? All right. So moving on with my analog calendar. Moving to October. And we are going on an hour, which is the amount of time I want to be streaming. It looks like we did drop a few more frames. We're at drop 381 frames. For all y'all keeping count on how many frames I've dropped at home. Still not too bad. If you know anything about live streaming, you know that it's really when it starts continually going up in dropped frames is the problem. Gosh, I hope some stream nut gets on here and is like, any dropped frames is a loss. You need Cat 6 cables. You need 10-bit GigaNet. You should be using a separate computer for streaming. Alright, let me put that back over here. Alright, starts on a Saturday. Ooh. Ends on a Tuesday. Oops. So once I get all this done too, I have to go in and then add other little events that are month specific. So that's gonna be fun, but I don't think we'll get to that point. But like I said, check out this kava bar. Say hi to Amy and Roman if you go out there. It is a fun place. Can recommend. 10 out of 10. Or at least say hi to Amy. I don't know if Roman will be there. Roman's opening up Black Sheep. That's another kava bar. Not in Sarasota, in Port Charlotte. And yeah, don't laugh about Port Charlotte. But it's Roman's so cool too. So it's gonna be a really dope kava bar as well. So, all right. Before I get into the numbering, oh wait, let me take off the. Oh wait, I didn't want to do that. The last 2 days are in there. This is one of those weird 6-row months. So take that one off. Take that one off. All right, and hide that. So when it's 6 rows, I like to add the little thing on the bottom. A lot of calendars like to smush it into the thing. I don't like that look. We got plenty of vertical space, so I don't even really need to hide those. I could keep it there and keep it blank, but I'd rather do it this way on 6-row months just to give me some more space down here, plus variety, right? Like if they were all just squares. Still learning to talk a lot more, talk my thoughts out, so that's something that I'm getting used to. So please bear with me if I mumble or if I'm weird or if I'm not saying things as much as I maybe should. Why the frick is Firefox open? Get out of here, Firefox. I only have Firefox installed for CSS and web page debugging. I stay on Chrome every day. If Firefox is your main browser, comment it in the chat and we'll fight about it. Back to the numbering. I don't need to be that close. Oops. Anywho, what else is going on in the world of tech? DaVinci Resolve got some really cool updates. Uh, DaVinci Resolve 18 is out, and that's exciting. But it's only in beta right now, so I haven't made the switch yet. I'm not going to. I had some problems with Resolve's 17 beta. I know that was a bigger jump than 18, but I just typed 17. Whoops. Um, uh, so I think there's no reason to not upgrade other than fear of why it's still listed in beta, you know. But so the two cool new things is even for the free account of DaVinci Resolve, they now have cloud computing, which honestly looks better laid out and more simplified for the average user than Premiere's cloud system, which I think is so cool. It's just you can like lock timelines and be working on them together at the same time, and you get little refresh notifications when you need to refresh them, which is also just really cool. And the other thing that the thing that I like freaked out about, which I forget his name, but he was saying it was kind of like a weird thing that like for some you can't if you have a timeline checked out, you have a whole bin checked out, right? So you have the timelines in there, but the people can still update. People can still make changes on the color and the fusion panel, like while you're working on something, which is crazy. That's just crazy. I mean, I can work on my the motion graphics, the typography for the the program while you're editing them in. Like fucking mind blowing to me. To me, that's crazy. That's one of the craziest things I've ever heard of. But then color on top of that, like I can tweak and set the color while you're editing. Like the other thing that I think is super crazy, um, and really a game changer for me, is in I think this is only the paid version though. You can there's suddenly an effect in the color panel that lets you make a depth mask. Like anyone who's familiar with like 3D workflows, they're used to making a depth mask for compositing. So like if you want the foreground to be separated from the background to be able to color correct them in separate levels, like like that's a kind of a standard compositing 3D compositing workflow, but now this is with regular footage. Like it could take this footage of me right here and uses like machine learning algorithms that have come up that make it capable of distinguishing the foreground me from the background over there, um, and it just creates an automatic mask. So like color correcting a footage of actual film footage, you no longer have to pull a key. You know, like that's insane. Like it's a super automatic way to really separate your characters from the background and really dial in their skin tone. Super important for color correcting if you don't know. But both the cloud computing and the depth math um, really make DaVinci Resolve 18 a big deal. And I really want more editors to switch to DaVinci Resolve because just using it as a standard editor um, really has been a game changer for me. You know, Premiere, I was a big advocate of Premiere. When everyone was working with Final Cut 7, I saw the writing on the wall when it turned to Final Cut 10. Um, I saw the writing on the wall and I was like, I need to jump ship and switch over to Premiere. And that was like a decade ago, like whenever I graduated college. Um, and that then proceeded to spend the next 10 years of me yelling at Final Cut editors to switch over to Adobe. And now we're at the point where I'm assuming for the next 10 years I'm going to be yelling at Adobe editors to switch over to DaVinci Resolve. So, you know, interesting times. It's hard. I know it's hard to keep up with tech, but people need to really start to question what overlord they accept. And Adobe, like, nobody should have that much power over creativity, you know. Adobe likes to be like, oh, we empower everybody to be creative, but you empower that at a cost. $60 a month is really not that bad to be like. It's better than having to pay 4,000 out the gate, or like they used to with the CS 6 and CS 5. But like, god damn, like it updates. It does not update fast enough, but also like, and they're all great tools, but like if you want to talk about, but there are alternatives to those tools that are better sometimes. In some ways they're better, and not having, but like having all your creativity owned by one entity, no. Like it's just that's a no for me, dog. um but yeah, this um starting last year is when I switched from Photoshop to Affinity, just for my own sanity and my wallet, save some money. I want to do it. I want to switch off of After Effects and use HitFilm Pro, but they are not currently up to snuff with Adobe After Effects. That's the only thing. They're the closest competitor in the game, but they are years light years behind. They had a huge push a couple years back, which I only know this because like I had seen looking at like tutorials, like full Film Riot tutorials, that like there was a time where FX Home, for that the people that make HitFilm Pro were really pushing HitFilm as a replacement for After Effects and Premiere, but they seem to have stagnated a little bit on that. The interface just isn't right. There's a lot of problems with it. Um, I could be wrong. They could be updating this every day. If you're out there, please sponsor me. I will gladly do some hit film tutorials. I just don't currently want to do them because After Effects still does all of that stuff better. Um, but we'll see. I know they were working on some of that. The camera tracking stuff did seem pretty promising. Sorry if I make licking motions too much. Whenever I drink sugary things, my mouth gets all ugh. But I'm really just trying to amp up my caffeine so I can keep going. Mainly just been living with it. So my partner goes to work all day, and I mainly just take care of the house right now and work out of here. So I really don't see a lot of people in real life. So my normal talking has kind of deteriorated to me mumbling to a dog. So I'm really trying to get better at presenterly talking to a live stream audience that currently doesn't exist. But trying to get my hours in. I think I need to get like 3 hours for this month to get my next achievement. If I can get 5 people talking into the chat, that would be an achievement. But that's never gonna happen. Never say never. It might happen. But we're just gonna keep doing this little weird Twitch game. I think it's the best market for me because if you look at other Twitch things, it's so ADD. How do people watch this? How do people watch this freaking channel? So ADD, you know, like I saw people just having rambling conversations with like 40,000 people. What is up with that? I don't know if I could handle that, honestly. If it gets to 40,000 people here, you're gonna get much more streamlined tutorials with solid like solid knowledge coming out of it. I'm gonna mainly just focus on doing cool things, um, like anything. Probably Unreal tutorials. If I get to 40,000, I'm gonna have my rig set up for Unreal and streaming into that. That's for damn sure. Unreal Engine 5 is like where everything is converging to me in my head. It really isn't, especially with a lot of the it's not the greatest DCC in the world, that's for sure. There's a lot of pro features that it just does not have. Their Pathfinder, their path tracing renderer is seriously lacking, and that is where you get physically accurate things, but you can't do so many things in it, and that's what my biggest pet peeve with it is. If they can amp up their path tracing and still let me do all the real time stuff, until of course I want to render out, that would make me a happy boy. But that being said, it's really becoming a hub. It really just has taken in so many things. It's taken the modeling in it alone has increased so much in like the last few months, or like the last iterations, and I just can't. I can't get over that. Oh my god, all this coffee and soda has made me have to go to the bathroom. So I'm just gonna leave the live chat going. I'll be right back. All right, back at it. What are we at? We're rippling this now. It looks like it. Cool. A lot of work for me to sit up straight. That's my big problem. The camera is just not at a great angle, and I can't really work it around. It's on my top of my monitor, so like this is where I look good, but this is how I usually am. Like, but great to be here. Great to be here. So let's close up that. Go to the top. Close up that. Close up that. Close up that. Alright, then Control G to group that. Then in that group, add a live filter layer, distort, ripple. Bring the ripple down. Let's go 4.2. Let's change the placement. Nope. I like there. Okay. I'm not gonna add any twirl to that. I'm gonna leave that as is. I want that to be a much more interesting. I wonder if they'll be open. It's a Monday, but I wonder if they'll be open for Halloween. That'd be cool. All right, let's continue this train. Wonder how much longer I can do this. The live stream's holding out, which is great. That's real great. I wonder why it glitched out on me last time. What did I do? Oh yeah, I had the Windows menu open. I actually think that might have been it. I think because I had the Windows menu open for a certain amount of time each time, and I think it just glitched it. Yeah, Windows is weird. But alright, we're into November. 5. Monday. Alright. Here we go again. If anyone's wondering why I'm generally hiding things and not deleting them, it's because I want this to be as reusable as possible. So I'm probably like when the next year comes around and I have to shift all of these things and all of the numbers over, I'm gonna generally just gonna turn things back on. So pardon me. So it doesn't really matter because this is all gonna get flattened anyway. I just like the idea of having these things here. A lot of this stuff might change anyway, so who really knows? Cool. That's a manatee one. There was not a lot of good photos of manatees on. There's a stock photo section inside of Affinity too. Super nice feature. I know they have similar stuff for Photoshop with that. I think you might need to put add-ons though. Oh, not with Adobe stock though. But who is going to pay for Adobe stock? It's not that great of stock images, and it's just integrate it more. I would not waste my money. I tried it for a little bit. My problem with stock images is I don't use them as much as I would want to. Every time I just recently for a circus thing, I just recently started. I used a motion array, so I had that for a month, and I was hoping I could like snag a bunch of those videos for I know licensing wise. If I ever wanted to actually use them on a commercial project, um, I would have to pay for motion array again, but I was hoping to just have a bunch of things so I can creatively throw things together, pre-licensed stock piles. But I never, like, there's always more drive space of it. There's never enough drive space available to like really create a whole stock drive. Like I've always wanted to like have a terabyte of like stock footage of things that I bought, every things I bought, things I made, put them all into one hard drive and then just work off of that when I need to do client work. But there like you really just need an endless stock company like Envato or Motion Array and just work off of them, because like not paying for one monthly really, like, how are you going to know what you need this month? I mean, I guess if you're like doing the same type of work over and over again, like say you all only do doctor work, then yeah, it makes sense to like pillage a bunch of doctor things. But if my when my client work takes off too, if I can, I'm, uh, I want to build a Amazon S3 bucket that is mounted to my computer, and then just use that for excessive amounts of stock footage, because that essentially makes a drive that's infinite, right? Because unlike Google Drive or Dropbox. There is a you only pay for what you use, and there is basically an unlimited amount of storage space that you can get. I think the first 50 terabytes all fall under the same pay grade, which I think is crazy. But I mean that would still cost a lot more. But I believe with Google Drive, it jumps up after the first like 5 terabytes or something, or maybe I don't know. I can't remember. But I've not gotten enough work with repetitive stock footage used to actually justify doing that, but that's something that I want to do. It's also you have to use a tool. The popular one is called Cloudberry, and that's $50 for one installation to mount one S3 bucket onto your computer. There's got to be some, just knowing the way that AWS does things, there's got to be a free version of that that's just way more complicated. Um, Probably using the AWS command line. But like I'm not going to use the command line every time I want to access footage. So that's a no-go as well. So I have to pay for Cloudberry, and it's like $50 for a Windows installation. Um, and then it's like $150 if you want a Windows Server installation. And that's what that might be what I want, because again I'm doing AWS EC2s, so I'd like to be able to put all my stock footage into my actual computer here, and then be able to remote into all that stock footage from an AWS a Windows server. So to me that feels a little highway robbery ish. Like, why does I don't I mean Amazon always claims that it does everything for the customer, and I get it, but like again I'm not their main customer they're talking about, right, when it comes to AWS stuff. Their main customer being the internet, actual computer actual computer web devs, loading up things on web pages that are stagnant all the time, or not, are updating all the time. So, but I really do think the AWS suite of tools are a powerhouse of tools that yeah, and then there's Google Cloud and Azure as well, but like I wish there was more average people using AWS for creative means, because there's a lot of things on there that are easy to do, but they are hard to find the tutorials on. Like the uploading of an image to an S3 bucket, most people all use the AWS CLI, and I get if you're a programmer doing this stuff for a living, if you're AWS certified, like the AWS CLI really does come in handy. But but I would rather just from like and I don't actually like the way the graphical user interface of AWS looks. I don't think it's definitely doesn't match the quality of like Firebase. But especially with the cost savings, there's tricks to cost saving when you use AWS that you can't quite do with other things. And especially when you're trying to do what I'm trying to do, which is run a cloud computer that can destroy anyone's regular video editing gaming system. Like that's where things jump up in price. So trying to save every penny is going to be super important for me, especially for my clients that I'm going to be using this EC2 instance for. Um, But yeah, there's a graphical way to take an S3 bucket image and turn it into an image, a machine image on an S3 bucket and turn it into a machine image on the EC2, which they used to be called machine images, but now it's called an AMI because they had to the Amazon in there, Amazon machine images, which I think is just silly, and it's kind of confusing to me because I'm like, why is this an AMI? Shouldn't this just be a machine image? Especially if I create it, right? Like if I made this machine image, it's just a machine image to me. But yeah, they have an image pipeline, which is super dope and looks easy to navigate, but it's harder to find a tutorial on it because it seems newer, and it's a graphical interface. So a lot of people are just making up the IAM policy roles right on their command line and not really worrying about um, teaching people how to do it from a graphical user interface, which is that's like there's just not a lot of like the tutorials on being cloud certified are not geared towards average people generally, which is a shame. But Amazon Web Services is pretty great. It's just hard to navigate. All right, I think 22 needs to be moved. All right. How's that look overall? Pretty good. I'm gonna do the little stretch and then add the ripple to it. Cool. Cool. Almost done with the year. Yep. Still only dropped 381 frames. Alright. So let's group this box. What? Oops. Yep. Excuse me. Let me add a live filter layer. Distort. What is displace? Space displacement map. Okay, so it probably works off of a displacement map. I don't know how it works right now. I could probably use something similar to liquefy with that. We're just gonna stick with what we've been doing. Try to distort, ripple. Let me check that. Make sure I don't need to leave. I do have to leave. I've done an hour and a half of live streaming. This has been fun. I think I'm gonna just finish up this month and then take off. Only because I have to take care of things. I have a life. You know that? I'm not just here for your calendar needs. I have an actual life. Stop being so you. You're being so you, wanting me to do things that I just cannot do. Nah, yeah, I like that. That's weird. Let's go to the 6 though. Yeah. Alright, so that's that. That's the ripple. I think I'm just going to leave that as that. And we're going to call this a day. So, thank you for watching my live stream. I sign up for my Patreon when I get a Patreon, but first I need streamers first. So come sign up, follow me on Twitch. I'm gonna be building a website maybe soon. Hopefully, I can get to my website next week. That would be fun. So thank y'all for watching, and have a pleasant day.